Well, I think I'll start with saying thank you to everyone, to all of you. I think our team has been a very up and down year, a roller coaster year. I think the way it ended, it seemed like we forgot about some of the things that happened, like throughout the year. But I just wanted to thank everybody, players, coaches, staff, incredible staff. Coaches did a phenomenal job. The players were incredible, persevering through, I think, a lot of tough times we went through. And our fans and the whole, I think, community here, all over. It's been a tough 2 years, and to come back here, settle down a little bit, or try to settle down, and then still a little shaky. We started in rebuilding and trying to grow this team in the beginning of the year, and we had all the injury battles, obviously COVID battles, tough December, tough January, and then the no fans for a long time, and then now it came back to almost some kind of like normal towards the end here. Too bad we couldn't increase the run, but I really commend these guys for an incredible job they did with a young team, trying to grow, trying to build. I think we made some progress, saw some progress with all of our players in some way or the other. I want to thank ownership for putting us in this position, and obviously I always thank the NBA for like this incredible opportunity they give us. It's been, I think, a league of excellence where we've shown ways to, I think, always persevere, get through adversity, and continue to build. Are we supposed to dance to that or something? It's got Afro beats there or something. Huh? I thought I was gonna see Serge or Pascal behind there. Huh? We are grateful, for where we are, and we, all of us, should be. It's been a tough couple years, and I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to knock wood. Like slowly the summer is coming, and hopefully a strong developmental summer for our team, our young guys, how we grow. Lots of positives that have come out of this year. Plenty work to do, plenty evaluation to be done with our team. We're very happy. Fred, all-star year. Unfortunately, couldn't finish the year. Scotty Barnes, rookie of the year. Our scouts from Bobby, Dan, Curtis, Patrick, Isaac, all these guys, Luke, Keith, they have all done an incredible job. And sometimes the scouts are like detectives, right? They go and do all this work and nobody sees. And these young players we continue to evaluate. I think we have one of the best groups, and they're all over the world. Shelby, Isaac, traveling, and I really appreciate the work that they do and put us in a position, hopefully, to make the best decisions that we can make. With the young players, their progress, Precious, Delano, Malachi, all of them, I think one way or the other, I think there's plenty growth. Pascal, Chris Boucher, OG, really good progress for us, and we're happy with it. We'll continue to grow and get better. We still preach patience and growth here. I know with kind of how the results came the end of the season, like sometimes the expectations now become like day to day. And I understand that from a fan perspective or media perspective, where it's win now, but we're thinking the long game here. And yes, there are windows, but when we first came here, we talked about development of our players, and I hope we continue to do that at a high level, so that the goal is to win a championship at the end. So thank you again to all of you that cover the team, and Kahal, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Bruce, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming to cover us. I'm calling you out.
Go ahead with questions, Chris.
What do you need to do in the summer to augment this roster, do you think?
We need to develop within, like we need to continue to grow within. That's really important, Doug. It's always been important for us to grow within, players getting better, work on their games, their bodies, their physicals. We have to get better, that way. And I think with additions, with personnel to the team, we're really going to evaluate. We've started our meetings with the coaches to see some of the things that we're going to need. I think the things everybody talks about is shooting and obviously rim protection, big. And sometimes I know we're playing a certain way, and people talk about playing all these long 6'9" guys, but we do look for all these other type players, but sometimes it doesn't, the time frame doesn't match, like with how you try to build an NBA team, and we have to look for those kind of players that fit how we play. So we'll continue to be aggressive out there and look and see how we can build from there.
Is this 4, 5, 6, 9 long guys? I asked them the same question. Is it sustainable year to year?
It is. In my opinion, you have to choose a way you want to play in the NBA. You can say Golden State is doing it with 6'4" guys, 6'5" guys. They're winning. Yeah, so you choose the way you want to play and you go do it. I don't think there is one particular formula that works. I'm not into all the copycats in the NBA. We figure out what we think a good formula for us to win is. We talk about it with coaches, with our staff, and with Nick, and we go with it. You try to win. Nothing in the NBA will be successful until you win. You have to win. There are many people that tried small ball and all that stuff, before Golden State did it, they just didn't win. Yeah, and when they did it, they won. And it's good to prove to the league that this can be done. So whatever we try, in the end of the day, you have to win. That's what this game and this sport is about. It's about winning and those results. So that's the end goal for us, is to win.
I think to the CBC, you mentioned that you thought this would be a team for the future. Were you, based on the year, is it a bit ahead of schedule compared to your expectations, maybe?
Not really. It's it's sometimes we see it a different way because we're on the inside, and you hope that these guys continue to make progress. Sometimes when it starts, it doesn't look as pretty and as good, and there's still a lot of work to do. I think it's still a team of the future. I think we have to have patience and grow. It's the first time Pascal and Fred and Ogia have been at the helm, and I think they did okay. And the young guys, the first time they are really playing. I'm happy that they got that playoff experience, and due to injuries and players being out, COVID and all, everybody kind of got like an opportunity, to play in good moments this season, good or bad. And that, I think, leads to, the experience. And does that lead to it being faster? I don't know. We still have the patience here to build this team and whatever it takes to get these guys to grow. We'll see, and that doesn't mean like things don't come up. This is just the NBA, but we've always preached growth here and development and young players, and I think we've done that.
Masai, to that point, at the trade deadline, one of the things that you and Bobby both talked about was how you wanted to keep that core together and see how they grew together even over this stretch run. I mean, obviously, there's always some level of uncertainty going to an off-season and things can happen, but is that still sort of the mindset here, is keeping that group and building around them?
Correct.
Sorry.
I'll ask one more.
Yeah.
You mentioned the center position, and yeah, when people talk about the roster, that's usually what comes up, but do you see that as a big area of need for this team, or based on the way that you want to play, does it almost make more sense to have guys like Precious and Kem than maybe a traditional big?
And if I can find more Preciouses and more, like Pascals and OGs, trust me, we'll have 15 more of them on this team. We'll continue to pile them up. Those are the players that play in this league, and they play big time. But it doesn't mean that, we can't find like bigs that play and fit how we play. And if we see those bigs, if we find those bigs that fit and how we play, 100% we're going to try and get them. Yeah, there's no question about that. There's no discrimination here. Yeah, we're trying to win, and we're trying to rim protect. Like as much as can. You saw defensive rebounding wasn't one of our best, areas, and I think that will get better with these guys learning to play with each other more. I think it'll definitely get better, but we definitely put that on the table when we're evaluating our team.
Masai, Nick mentioned yesterday that he was questioning or was looking for more depth on the roster, and you mentioned that you wanted to grow from within. Can you do enough growth from within to have that end of the bench be all like 9, 10, 11, 12 and be serviceable and usable?
We are going to make, like a little changes here and there, and obviously we have a mid-level exception that we can use, and we'll try and find some flexibility in, be it trades or to add players if that comes about. But the core is the core, and barring injuries and things that, you feel kind of hinder your team a little bit along the way, we will. We feel that there's going to be growth internally, because Precious was not the same player was in the beginning of the season. Neither was Boucher. Neither was Malachi. I think players like Delano, Justin, those guys will make a jump. They'll get better, and they need to be given opportunity too, because if we call our program a developmental program, where we have to give those guys opportunity too.
So kind of on that theme, what happened with that this year? You kind of look at how the minutes were distributed, and after the top 7 guys or so sort of fell off, even with injuries and stuff, you never really had that run through the year where, the guys you would be in your development pool, I guess, really took a step forward or were given the opportunity to maybe. So was that because, they weren't ready for that? Was that more philosophical on the coaching side? How come that kind of 8 to 13 or 15 part of the roster wasn't able to contribute?
Yeah, I think sometimes, it's both of what you said. Is some players develop faster than some others, and we saw Malachi do a little bit of it towards the end of the year, and that's that's on Malachi, that's on us, that's on coaching, that's on everything, right? It's a combination of everything. I think because these guys that we had that were in that top 7, top 8 needed to have a lot of development too. It needed it. There's no question about it. We needed to see Pascal in these situations. We needed to see Fred in these situations, OG, Boucher, all those guys. And you have to do it intensely. You have to do it, you have to be intentional, about these things. And that was an understanding with all of us. Yes, we get into coaching, and obviously Nick is going to coach. I'm never going to tell Nick how to coach or what to do, and I think he got the best out of those players in some ways. Now the guys from 7 to 13 that you are saying, they'll develop some more. Like these things sometimes take time with different levels of players, and hopefully some more time, and they'll develop even more.
Could we see more, like a lot of movement in that kind of bottom half of the roster, or do you like what you have? They just need more time to get where they need to be?
I think we'll continue to evaluate between now and the summer, and now and July, and see what will change or what we'll keep.
If this is your core though, as you just said, does there not have to be, your team relied on its starters more than any other team in the league as top 5 players. Does there not have to be, especially for Fred, but other guys too, a bit more depth added that the coach will use, and just to allow them to get to the playoffs as healthy as possible?
Correct.
As you're looking to add pieces, do you have any non-negotiables, like you have to check this box to come to our program or organization and play, whether that be your first or your 15th guy?
Yes, we're trying to get as many athletes as we can. Shooting premium in the league, it's not that they're not easy to find, and that's why. Eric, to your question, we try to develop, as the best as you can, and the best way to explain it sometimes is patience, within. And not all players are going to develop as fast as the others. Sometimes it takes time, that's why, sometimes a guy like O'Shea goes somewhere else, and you see, it takes time, and it's developed, and he's playing on another team, right? Like you just give that example. I don't mean to mention another team's player, but these are the examples you have where sometimes, it takes time for them to develop, and sometimes, you shut the door too quick. We have to make that judgment, and then we have to bring other players to our team. I think character, athletic ability, we like two-way players, everybody does. They're hard to find, but we try to build from within.
Let's talk about this being kind of a normal year. The no fan period was hard. But the basketball buzz was pretty much back at the end. How do you think you guys did in the social responsibility aspect of the organization?
I think we did phenomenal. I think we've always been a voice. I think what John Wiggins is building on his program, I see that even the staff and what he's doing, like from within, and how they're affecting all the players, and some of the programs that they're building and things that they're doing. We always have to be ahead. I think we always have to be in front. To that, I want to make this point, and I hope this is not controversial in any way. The black coaches that were hired last year, I think they did phenomenal this year, and nobody is recognizing them like that. We only sometimes recognize when they don't do so well. But if you make the rounds, from Jamal Mosley to Emil Doka to Wes to all of them, Jason Kidd, Chauncey, I think all of them. What's my guy in New Orleans? Everybody. Will Green, all of them, I think, had really, really good, like solid years for what they had in their program, and I think they have to be commended, like for that, and encouraged, and black executives too.
You have a couple in that regard in your organization, in Patrick Mutombo and Adrian Griffin.
Yes.
Will you promote them for other positions that are open or may come open?
Yeah, there are already teams calling on these guys. Already, I think they are going to raise their level. In many ways, I think Patrick Mutombo did an excellent job with 905, just like Jama did, and is doing a great job in Golden State now. And I think Adrian is right there on the cusp of becoming a head coach in this league, and we have others on our bench coming up, and Nick has done a great job developing these guys, and we encourage it as much as we can, make calls. I think Nick does a phenomenal job too, giving these guys the exposure and talking to people out there to get them opportunity.
Masai, you mentioned how you don't discriminate against any type of player, but if there are players who don't necessarily fit the mold or what you guys vision as a team, but are really talented, how do you balance bringing in guys who are talented but don't necessarily fit and just adding talent versus the vision you guys have for the roster?
That one is beyond me, so I'll leave that to Bobby. But that's Bobby's job, not mine. Me, I'm doing the athletic guys, the long athletic guys. It's crazy, the eye, for talent and fit, on a team, and sometimes it's not necessarily like what you even see out there. I totally agree with you. It could be like a shooter that you're putting that's not as athletic as these guys, but we want to play on both sides of the court. That's really important, and it's just a fine line. There's a lot of luck to it. When you try to find those guys that actually fit, really fit, and we're hoping. We hope that I trust our scouts, our player personnel guys. They've done an excellent job, and hopefully we'll continue to. If we can't find them, we will develop them. That's what we're hoping. Yeah.
Is that part of the challenge of building this team on the standard to play that Nick sets at both ends of the floor is so high? Only certain guys reach it, even within your organization.
Yes, it is a high standard. I think a couple of the players commended it. James Harden said something about the defenses come at you and how the players come at you. This is something I think Nick preaches, teaches, is part of his style, his system, and I can't just go out there and put Grange out there to. No, we don't want that.
He's bad in the locker room too.
Masai, when you look at the roster, there's so many different personalities. Like you can have someone who's more serious like Fred, you can have someone who's very joyful like Scotty, but they're all hyper competitive. Regardless of what the personality is, how do you go about identifying that hyper competitive?
Well, those two guys you mentioned, about winning, and to me, this game is about winning. It's simple. Yeah. There's nothing else. It's only winning. Yeah, we want to win in Toronto. I say it all the time. It's winning. Nothing else. Nothing. We can come hold hands, do whatever we want, hug, wear masks, do anything we want. Okay? Winning. Yeah, winning. Empty stadium, full stadium, winning. That's it. That's the kind of players we try to bring. Yeah, we want to win a championship here. It's not playoffs. Yeah, playoffs is good, but win big, win a championship. That's what we want to do here. Yeah, and sports is about competing. And so in our mindset, that's the kind of players like we want to bring. When we interviewed Scotty, he mentioned winning 100 times. He kept on talking about winning. Every time you talk to Freddie, I just met with Freddie a couple of days ago, and it's winning, win, win, win. It comes out of their mouth all the time. You talk to all the players, win, win. The players you get like that are the players that are going to win. That's what they believe in. Whether their personalities are different, they have to have that mindset of winning. And that's what we want, because I think that's what sports is about.
Besides, to that point, the idea of winning obviously that has to be reflected when it comes to foundation. When you look back at the season, how much of it, and particularly at the beginning, was also balancing waiting, just to see how things were like playing out with injuries and whatnot?
Yeah, so it's patience, you know. Really, when you have young players, I think we have to always be patient. We have to be. And it's not going to go good all the time. I sat here and told you guys it's not going to be pretty. I think you guys remember that. It's going to be up and down. You know, that's just how development works, how building works. But their mindset, the mindset has to be winning. Yeah. However you look at it. Last year, the Tampa Tank year,
Never heard of it.
we won. You know why we won? Scotty Barnes. We won. Our whole mindset has to be winning. You have to think about it that way. So even in the beginning of the season, there are many things, and Nick would explain to me, and sometimes I wouldn't even, like get it, is the patience. He explained it to me with pressures, I was like, why is he doing that? Why is he doing this? And it's the patience, of getting them to, make mistakes sometimes. And yeah, sometimes we'll say, how does it fit into, what the timelines of Pascal or Fred and Ujiri or these guys are? Those guys are young too. Yeah. When I look at these guys, people have been playing in the NBA 15, 13, how many years? I look at like a phenomenal Boston team. Those guys, played them in the playoffs how many times? Still the same team, right? Still the same guys, that for years. You look at the Miami team, guys are playing for a long time. It's, I think we're the third or second youngest team in the playoffs. And Thad Young messed it up for us, by the way. But yeah, we have to build, we have to grow, we have to allow that. And I know sometimes when you win, the expectations start to become a little bit higher from fans, from media, from everybody. It just sets our tone. But inside, we have to see it. We have to have the vision, of what we feel, we project these guys are going to be.
You mentioned Thad and talent and fit and winning. How do you feel that he impacted your team both on and off the court? Because that seems like a win, the impact that he did have.
Yes, big time winner and big time help. He had an incredible professional. You saw how he fought. You saw how he communicated with not only the veteran guys on the team, but the younger guys on the team. You saw the calmness he brought, but the toughness he brought on the court. We couldn't have asked for anything better, to be honest. When we did that trade, this was what we were looking for. We needed to take a step forward with some kind of maturity, and seeing how we start to bring the room and the locker room together in some kind of way. And he was a key to that in helping the Freds and the Pascals with the leadership of the team.
Given that you have Thad, Chris, a few free agents of your own, you have the mid-level, as you mentioned, but you also have core players who, starting the year after next, will come up for extensions or free agency or whatever. how willing are you to give out deals this summer that impact you beyond next year into the future?
It's a good question. I think it's things that we're going to really like evaluate, in the next few days. This is what you guys making me do this press conference like right after the season.
I
You
did
did,
make you do it,
you
yeah.
did, made me do it. If you'd have waited like 3 weeks, then I would have been able to tell you, like what all our meetings and all the things that we want to do is going to be. But right now, I don't have an answer for you that because I need to go consult with a couple of my bosses, Bobby, Dan, Nick, and all those guys.
I'm sure there would have been complete transparency.
Yes, it would have been.
Masai, I have a bit of a longer term question because of course you're focused on internal development, but externally, when you look at the growth of basketball in this country, I know you were at BioSteel, how big of an untapped potential is that still when it comes to Canadian talent, maybe recruiting them to this program as well?
Oh, we're looking. It's coming. It's coming. I'll tell you what, nobody knows. I keep saying it. You can't project the kind of players that are going to come out of this country just from our championship year alone. Because when I look at the Vince Carters, the Tracy McGrady's, and all those guys that came out of that, I look at my 5-year-old son, and I'm putting immense pressure on him every day at home. No, I'm kidding. No, but I'm saying, like he's looking at all this stuff and going like, wow, and there's noise every day in the basement, breaking stuff, I know that's happening in millions of households. It's not just mine. It's coming, it's coming, and I hope you guys keep me here till when it's like really ripe, because even the Canadians in the league, everywhere, this game is going global. I'm telling you, it's going global. It's big. Everybody, you don't have to watch it on ESPN. You can watch it right here. Everywhere around the world, you can stream, you can see it, you can watch it in short time, long time, anyhow you want to watch it. Players are playing. Players are developing. Players are seeing the league. Yeah, so the game is growing. Top 3 for MVPs are what? Exactly.
So I asked Nick the other day what he thought might be some swing pieces, like if we're talking this time next year in June or in late May, let's say. What do you see as players, let's say, on your roster, or things that could happen on your roster specifically that would make it more likely that this conversation is a month later than it is today?
You mean next year?
Yeah. Like, who do you have that can or need to, or are most important to take a step?
All of them. Yes, all of them. I know it sounds like a cliche answer, but no. Pascal needs to make a jump. Fred needs to make a jump. There's plenty that, OG needs to play more games, needs to make a jump, Precious, Boucher, all these guys, they all need to make a jump. Scotty, who used to say it best? Coach Casey, you told on yourself, right? That's what he used to say. Like the NBA is, you tell on yourself, they're coming at you. And that's where you want to be. That's why I love that they had those 6-game experience, so they see, they see how it is in those kind of situations. We need to make a jump. We need to get better. This is what this summer is from. We've had that discussion with all of them at length, and are going to continue those conversations. What did Pascal say here? He needs to get. He said he's going to get better. He's going to work on his 3-point shot. To be better. You saw how he worked on his mid-range game. Got better. I think all of them. They have they have something, there's something at stake there to grow as a player in this league. These guys are prideful guys, and these guys love the game.
Masai, you mentioned you'd be happy with a roster of 15 pressures that you was. But you got a couple of guards who don't really fit that description. How come they are exceptions? What makes Fred in particular able to, you know, stay and do all the things you guys want to do on a roster that's full of guys who don't look like him?
He's a winner. He's a champion. He's an all-star. He beats everything. That's bigger than 6'9". That's the truth. Bigger than 6'9". That guy's heart is bigger. You need those guys on your team every day. Do I think Malachi can become like that? Yes. He's got the skills. He's got the ability. Now he just has to, show it in some kind of way. And we hope to give that opportunity to show it.
Normally, when you subtract a player like Kyle from a team that's so central and entrenched in the team's DNA on and off the court, there's an adjustment period. And I'm sure there was here too, but from the outside looking in, it seems like the transition was pretty smooth this year. Is that what it felt like to you? And if so, what do you attribute that to?
I think I attribute it to, I think the kind of players that Kyle, DeMar, Kawhi, those guys, Serge, Marc Gasol, those guys were. They transferred, a lot of what they did to the other players. And that's the truth. You see some of those tendencies with these guys that played with them. And then the fabric of the culture. Those guys built a culture for us. And we're proud of that. We're very proud that those guys were part of our program, and they elevated our program to a certain extent. These guys have to continue that. Those guys set a level that they have to continue. And that's where character, that's where tradition, that's where everything you build, inside you as a sportsman, you learn. And Freddie learned that. He saw that. He saw that every day. Pascal learned that. They saw that every day. OG, all these guys. And that's what hopefully we try to teach here. I think the coaching staff too. Those things that I think Nick Nurse has expect to win in everything he does and he says. We expect to win. And that builds that.
Has any team contacted you about the availability of your head coach, and would you entertain any such conversations? Hypothetically.
No team has contacted me, and I see all the stuff that, you guys see. I dream like they dream. Yeah, I want Messi, I want Ronaldo, I want Kobe Bryant, Yeah, so they keep dreaming, I dream too.
You talked about players getting faster at different rates. Do you have a sense of how much faster how fast of an improver is Scotty going from this year to next year?
I think we're very, very hopeful. We saw it in the games. We saw it in the games that he really had impact. And it was so unfortunate he got hurt in that first game, but his strong mind kept him and got him back on track quickly. It tells you his mindset, as a player. Honestly, Bruce, I think he's going to grow, and I think he's going to keep growing. Just one of those type players that you dream to get, big, strong, skilled, basketball IQ, and We hope the things that he can put together, shooting, maturity, those who come. He's 20 years old, and we've just seen something in 1 year. Sometimes with these players, that's like a 3-4 year, like span. I hope it's as fast as this, but in his mind, he's not gonna slow down, and we love that about him.
When you talk about character, evolution, and culture, how much, not so much of a surprise, but as a joy has it been watching Pascal develop in terms of coming back from the shoulder injury, doing what he's able to do now, and considering kind of big picture bubble experience and then Tampa and then to have the season that he's had?
Oh man, that one is a touchy one, like, 'cause there's what that guy went through. Like, we all go through it, and it's not advertised. His is advertised. His is public because he is a public figure. I'm so proud of him. There's nothing. Watching his press conference the other day, I want that guy on my team. I want that kind of fighter on my team. If you can come back from that in life, you saw it. You saw what people called him, racist, all the things that were said about that guy because of basketball, because of sports. Yeah, he gets paid, but he's also a human being, right? Yeah. And he stood it, withstood it, went, when he was coming back, got hit again, got injured. Yeah, those things crack people, right? And he grew out of it. And to see him on that stage, fight, fight and fight. That's who you want to go to war with, to battle with. I'm proud of him, incredibly proud of Pascal.
That's it, last call?
Masai, how was your first year as vice chairman?
That was very good. That was very good. I think the biggest thing I learned from being vice chairman is I can actually sit in the arena by myself, use my authority to sit by myself in that arena with nobody else around me. And that was very fulfilling for me.
Were there maybe any conversations that you wanted to be able to have that you were able to have? Like, was there anything that this title added in that regard?
Yes, there's plenty. As I said, the game is going global, and I'm really interested in the BAL League in Africa, the WNBA. There are many things that intrigue us here. I know that I think we will continue to talk about how do we get this franchise even bigger in how we think, with whether it's facilities or even thinking of the game just even more global, which is where my mind is always at. I think vice chairman helped me building 100 courts in Africa and making progress with that. Built 13 already and another, I think, 15 under construction to be open in the summer. And hopefully I'm given the opportunity where I get to 100, soon. That's big for me. And I'm sticking to my brother too, Amadou Gallo Fall, who is the president of the BAL League, and seeing the development of that league being held in Dakar, in Cairo, and now the finals in Rwanda. I think one day that's going to be something incredible from all the African players I see, even in the NBA, and the talent on the continent. I think that's going to be big. So that's not quite vice chairman-y, but it is something to me. Good? Good?
I mean, actually, sir, you mentioned WNBA, like how,
Oh, I'm not going into that, Grange.
okay.
Hmm? Our dreams. Just like the Lakers now.